According to reports published by international organizations, more than 13 million children living in Arab countries in the Middle East have been deprived of their absolute right to education due to the outbreak of insurgency and chaos in these countries. Following this report, Imam Shirazi World Foundation sent out a letter in which it demanded the international community to do his part in helping these innocent children.
A newly published report by UNICEF focused attentions of the world onto a hidden yet dimension of the tide of violence that has crossed the Middle East in recent years. The UNICEF report, Education Under Fire, looked at the impact of violence at school children in 9 countries, including Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Libya, where a generation is growing up outside the education system. This report speaks of 40% of children not receiving any appropriate education in their homelands amid violent conflicts by different groups who don't miss a chance in order to destroy their enemies. A while after this report by UNICEF, Imam Shirazi World Foundation also expressed its great concerns for the education crisis in the Middle East and called the international community to the help of the children suffering these conditions. Here comes a letter by this organization. ISWF holds the international community responsible for educational crisis in the Middle East. Military conflicts and insurgency in the Middle East has resulted in the deprivation of more than 13 million children from the right to education and studying, according to reports received by ISWF. According to reports confirmed by UNICEF, the Arab countries have watched 40% of their children losing their right to education and their hopes and dreams destroyed. This is while many of the students in these countries were forced to leave their schools since the outbreak of civil wars and insurgencies. These reports indicated that 2.4 million children in Syria, 3 million children in Iraq, 2 million children in Libya, 3.1 million children in Sudan, and more than 2.9 million children in Yemen were deprived of education. Attacks on educational facilities and the terrorists using these places as bases for their ambushes are the main reasons which has stopped the children from attending schools. Besides holding the governments of these countries responsible for this education crisis, Imam Shirazi World Foundation stated that the international community should also take its moral and legal responsibility in this humanitarian crisis and help the children who have been deprived of the right to education. ISWF demanded the international community to move seriously in stopping the political, economic, and social crisis in the Middle East, especially the widening cultural collapse that hit the region, and to investigate the causes and the repercussions of this collapse. Imam Shirazi World Foundation, Washington, D.C.